Hello, I'm Antonella, a 32-year-old making my mark in the world of interior design. I once believed my family was perfect until everything shifted when my brother, Jake, began dating Vanessa. Antonella, you won't believe this. I've found an incredible woman, Jake exclaimed during a phone call. I was genuinely happy for him. Jake and I have always shared a strong bond, raised in a family that emphasized loyalty and support for one another. 3 months later, Jake dropped a surprising announcement: we're tying the knot. I nearly spat out my coffee. Married? Jake, you hardly know her. But he was completely smitten. The wedding came and went in a blur, and suddenly, I had a new sister-in-law. At first, Vanessa appeared delightful, radiating charm and courtesy, but something felt off. During a family dinner, I noticed how she subtly influenced conversations. "Oh, Antonella, still looking for love? Don't worry, you'll find someone eventually," she would say, always smiling, yet tinged with a hint of condescension. I tried to dismiss it, but her remarks persisted, wrapped in sweetness, yet brimming with critique. One afternoon, while assisting Mom in the kitchen, I overheard Vanessa talking to Jake. "Sweetheart, don't you think Antonella's career is a bit shaky? I'm just concerned about her future." My anger flared. I had built my business from scratch, and it was flourishing. Things escalated at Jake's birthday party when Vanessa accidentally spilled wine on my brand new dress. "Oh, I'm such a klutz, but don't worry, it probably wasn't too pricey, right?" she said with a grin. I forced a smile, but inside, I was furious. Later that night, I confided in my best friend, Megan. "I swear, Meg, something's off about Vanessa." Megan agreed. "I've noticed it too, the way she looks at you when she thinks no one's watching, sizing you up like a rival." I sighed, "But Jake seems so happy, and Mom and Dad adore her. Am I just being overly sensitive?" "Trust your instincts, Antonella," Megan advised. "Stay vigilant." So I did. I observed as Vanessa gradually ingratiated herself into every facet of our family life. She offered to assist Dad with his finances, critiquing his strategies, and reorganized Mom's kitchen, claiming it was for better efficiency. But what troubled me most was how she affected Jake. My once lively brother became more reserved, consistently deferring to Vanessa's opinions. While shopping with Mom, I attempted to discuss my concerns. "Mom, have you noticed any changes in Jake lately?" She paused, considering. "Well, he's a married man now, change is only natural." "But Mom, it feels like he's a completely different person." "Oh, darling, you just need to adjust to sharing him. Give it some time." Yet time only exacerbated the issues. Family gatherings turned into battlegrounds of passive-aggressive remarks and uncomfortable silences. I tried to maintain harmony, biting my tongue when Vanessa made snarky comments, but the stress was taking its toll. My design suffered, and sleepless nights became the norm. One night, after an especially brutal family dinner where Vanessa subtly criticized everything from my attire to my latest project, I broke down in my apartment. The phone rang. It was Megan. "Antonella, are you all right? You seemed off at dinner." I couldn't hold back any longer. My emotions poured out, my suspicions, my anxieties, and how Vanessa was isolating Jake from us. Megan listened intently before saying firmly, "That's enough, Antonella, we need to investigate. There's more to Vanessa than she's letting on, and we're going to uncover it." As I hung up, a mix of determination and apprehension washed over me. I cherished my family, and I'd do anything to safeguard them, even if it meant revealing the deceptive presence that had infiltrated our lives. Little did I know, things were about to spiral even further. The annual family barbecue at my parents' house was meant to be a day of relaxation and connection. Instead, it transformed into an unforgettable nightmare. Everyone was in the backyard, Dad manning the grill, Mom arranging salads, and Jake assisting Vanessa with her chair. I was chatting with my cousin when Vanessa's voice pierced through the noise. "Antonella, dear, could you fetch me a drink? You're not occupied with anything important, right?" I was about to respond when Mom called everyone to the table. The tension was already palpable. Throughout the meal, Vanessa continued her little jabs. "This potato salad is delightful, Mom, so much better than the store-bought one Antonella brought last time." "At least I'm contributing something," I shot back. "Vanessa, what exactly do you bring to these gatherings besides criticism?" The table fell silent. Vanessa narrowed her eyes. "Well, I bring class, something you clearly lack." Before I could stop myself, I retorted, "Class? Is that what you call being a manipulative B***********? Jake interjected, visibly shocked. Vanessa stood up. tears brimming in her eyes. "I can't believe you'd say such things after all I've done for this family." She stormed off, Jake trailing behind. I sat there fuming, my parents giving me disapproving glances. Later, while I was cleaning up, Vanessa confronted me in the kitchen. "Listen here, you insignificant nobody, Jake is mine now, and soon the entire family will see you for the jealous, pathetic person you are." I was incredulous. "You're out of your mind, Vanessa." That's when she seized a handful of my hair, pulling hard. "Let's see what Jake thinks about his precious sister now." She dragged me by the hair into the living room, where Jake was conversing with Dad. "Jake, look what your sister did. She attacked me," Vanessa cried out. Jake's eyes widened in disbelief. "Antonella, what the hell?" I tried to explain, but Vanessa's faux tears drowned me out. "I think you should leave, Antonella." I walked out, humiliated and enraged. The following day, Megan came over, finding me still in yesterday's clothes, surrounded by empty ice cream containers. "That's it. We can't let her get away with this. It's time to stand up for ourselves." In the following week, Megan helped me investigate Vanessa's background. We uncovered inconsistencies in her stories. The college she claimed to have attended had no record of her, and the company she said she worked for didn't exist. Then, fortune smiled upon us. While grabbing coffee, I ran into Sarah, who introduced herself as Vanessa's former colleague. "Oh, you know Vanessa? How does she still keep ruining lives?" My eyes widened. "What do you mean?" Sarah shared everything. Vanessa had a history of workplace bullying, manipulating colleagues and bosses alike. She had even gotten Sarah fired by fabricating evidence of theft. "Be cautious," Sarah warned. "Vanessa's dangerous when she feels cornered." I left the cafe, my mind racing. I finally had undeniable evidence that Vanessa was not who she pretended to be. But as I reached for my phone to call Jake, I hesitated. Would he actually believe me, or would this just push him further away? Standing there, caught between wanting to protect my brother and salvaging what little was left of our relationship, I realized this was only the beginning. Vanessa's facade had cracked, and now I had to determine how far I was willing to go to reveal the truth. After agonizing for weeks, I finally made the call. Mike, a private investigator recommended by a client, agreed to meet me at a quiet cafe. "So you want me to look into your sister-in-law's background?" he asked, glancing at the folder I slid across the table. "Here's what I've uncovered so far, but I need more information," I said. Mike whistled as he flipped through the documents. "Lady, your sister-in-law has more warning signs than a festival parade. I'll see what I can uncover." 2 weeks later, Mike called, and my blood ran cold. "Antonella, your sister-in-law isn't just a liar. She's a seasoned con artist, multiple aliases, fraud charges in 3 states. And get this, she's been using your brother's business for money laundering." My hands trembled as I absorbed the news. How is she pulling this off? Fake invoices, phantom employees, the works. Your brother's business is a disaster waiting to happen. I thanked Mike and hung up, my thoughts racing. I needed to tell Jake, but how could I? Before I could figure it out, my phone buzzed with a message from Mom. "Family dinner tonight. Vanessa insists. Please come." Fantastic. The atmosphere at dinner was thick with tension. Vanessa wore a fake smile, her gaze icy when it fell on me. "Jake, darling, why don't you share our vacation plans?" Vanessa prompted with a strained smile. Jake cleared his throat. "Well, we're considering an extended trip, maybe 6 months. I nearly choked on my drink. 6 months? What about the business? Vanessa's smile stiffened. "Oh, Jake can manage everything remotely, right, sweetie?" I could see the strings she pulled, but Jake just nodded in agreement. After dinner, I pulled Jake aside in the kitchen. "Are you really sure about this trip?" He sighed heavily. "Antonella, please, Vanessa thinks some time away will be good for us." I held back my frustration, realizing just how deeply Vanessa had sunk her claws into him. Over the next few days, I reached out to Sarah and other victims I had uncovered. We formed a support group, sharing experiences and evidence. "We need to stop her," Sarah insisted during one meeting, "before she wreaks more havoc." I nodded, a plan forming in my mind. "I think I know how." I spent the next week preparing, collecting every piece of evidence I could find. But Vanessa wasn't naive. She must have sensed something was amiss. One evening, as I left my office, I discovered my car tire slashed. A note on the windshield read, "Back off, or next time it won't just be the tires." I called Megan, my hands trembling. "She knows, Megan. Vanessa is on to me." Megan's voice was firm. "Then we act, now." before she can inflict any more damage. I agreed and set the plan in motion. I called my parents, Jake, and extended family, emergency family meeting tomorrow night. It's about Jake's safety. As I hung up, doubt began to creep in. Was this the right choice? What if it all backfired? But then I thought of Jake's defeated expression and how Vanessa had twisted everyone around her. No, this needed to happen. The next day dragged on endlessly. I triple-checked my evidence and practiced what I would say. As evening approached, I received a text from Jake. Vanessa isn't feeling well. We might not make it. My heart sank. Of course, she would try to evade this. I replied, please, Jake, it's important. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't. Hours went by with no response. I was about to lose hope when I heard a car pull up outside my apartment. I peeked out the window. Jake was helping Vanessa out of the car. She looked pale and was leaning on him dramatically. As Jake and Vanessa entered my apartment, the tension was almost unbearable. My parents, Megan, Sarah, and a few other familiar faces were already present. Vanessa clearly hadn't expected this. What's going on? Jake asked, confusion evident in his voice. I took a deep breath. Jake, everyone, it's time you learned the truth about Vanessa. Vanessa's eyes narrowed. Antonella, this is absurd. But I interrupted her, pulling out a stack of documents. Vanessa, or should I call you Amanda? Or maybe Lisa? How many identities do you have? Jake's face drained of color as I presented the evidence, the charges, the stolen identities, the money laundering involving his business. Sarah and the others recounted their experiences of Vanessa's manipulation and deceit. Vanessa tried to shout over us, her voice rising in panic. They're lying, Jake, you know me. But Jake's disbelief morphed into fury. Is this true? Have you really been using my company to launder money? The mask Vanessa wore finally shattered. Her sweet persona evaporated, revealing cold rage. You're all fools, Jake. You were so easy to manipulate. And the rest of you are pathetic. Mom gasped, Dad's fists clenched, and Jake looked utterly shattered. Vanessa attempted to flee, but Sarah blocked her way. Not so fast. The police are on their way. The next few hours passed in a blur. Vanessa was arrested, screaming threats as they led her away. Jake sat silently, processing everything. Days turned into weeks. He filed for divorce and worked tirelessly to salvage his business from the chaos Vanessa had caused. I stood by his side through it all. Months later, as we celebrated the successful relaunch of Jake's company, he pulled me aside. Antonella, I'm sorry I didn't believe you sooner. Thank you for not giving up on me. I embraced him tightly, feeling our bond strengthened. Looking around at my family, now liberated from Vanessa's toxic grasp, I recognized the importance of trusting one's instincts and standing up against those who sought to undermine you. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. We were free, united, and stronger for having endured this trial. Thanks for watching, and see you again in the next video. Stay amazed.